In this video, I like to discuss two philosophers. The first philosopher I'll go over is Immanuel Kant. Now, Immanuel Kant talks about morals. Morals, which are categorical imperatives, and there happens to be two. The first one is hypothetical. Hypothetical is it contributes to a good and is what you may do. The second one is categorical. Categorical is it's a good in itself and is what you must do. And morals can have forms, and the first form is universal law. And universal law contributes to duties, and duties can be imperfect or perfect. An imperfect duty is suicide, and suicide also questions is a universal law because you taking your own life, but you can say that I took my own life out of self-love, but how do you love yourself, or how does that show that you love yourself? And that's why I question universal law. A perfect one could be selflessness. Is a man who's in a very great position, and he will leave you where you're at, and he will support you from a distance. Second form of moral is means to an end. Means to an end questions: does this violate treating some of us as an end? An example of a mean could be slavery, could be rape. An example of an end could be simply holding the door open for someone. He also stated why people are ends in themselves, and the answer to that is practical reason. Practical reason is the reason that drives actions without any sense-dependent incentives. And the second philosopher I like to discuss is Schopenhauer. Schopenhauer brings up the point of moral theory. This is the principle of individuation. In this point, he believes that our moral actions comes from compassion, or it comes from sympathy. He also brings up a point of suffering. We will get suffering because of lack of recognition. Recognition is actually satisfaction. Satisfaction is very empty, and it has no value or power. So when we express boredom, it is the emptiness of satisfaction. Why do I bring up these points with both philosophers? Here's why. So with Kant, duty is human experience, and morality doesn't depend on motives or compassion. It shows our morals are our duties and not just feelings. And we can't assume what's good for us will be good for someone else. Now, the importance of Schopenhauer is he talks about fulfillment, and he says even though we may seek fulfillment and we get what we were seeking for, we may think we are fulfilled, or we may think that we are happy, but basically he's trying to say that that's impossible. It's impossible to be happy, or it's impossible to have like everlasting happiness. Yeah, at one point you may feel the utmost happiness or the utmost fulfillment, but after a while just disappears. So you can't really reach the full peak of happiness or fulfillment, because once you get that, you want more. Like your fulfillment is not, like you're not full enough. Like when you're hungry and you eat, yeah, you're satisfied at that time, but you slowly grow hungry again, and you slowly have the taste for something else. I really don't think these two philosophers have similar views, because each one bashes one another. So I don't really think they can compare. They more so contrast each other. So the difference between Schopenhauer and Kant is Kant argues that the thing in itself causes our sensations. The thing in itself is wholly foreign to such objects, and extending the law of causality to the thing in itself, Kant actually contradicts his own prohibitions when he said that. Also, Kant believes that having passion and showing sympathy is a sense of duty. is a sense of duty, while Schopenhauer believes that it drives our moral actions. Schopenhauer declared that the true form of morality is compassion or sympathy, and that morality of an action can be judged in accordance with Kant's reasoning, treating person as an end and not as a mere means. By drawing this component between egoism and unselfishness, Kant correctly described the criterion of morality. Schopenhauer, he believes that morality can come from showing a sense of compassion, whereas Kant believes that this is false. He feels as though the actions can just be based off a reason in itself. It fulfills your own pleasures, so you're not doing it because you actually feel the person's pain. So I don't know. Basically, you could take something from this, saying like, I mean, what he said right here, that the fulfillment of pleasure and the fulfillment of pleasure when showing compassion, even though it's a duty. You could probably tie that into what Schopenhauer said when you're fulfilling your own hunger, or when you're fulfilling your own happiness, or you're trying to reach this happiness, it just goes away, or you try to do things to reach this fulfillment. And try is basically, I mean, you could basically say that it almost intertwines. Kant is almost trying to say that you're trying to like reach this type fulfillment, so you do that by showing compassion, try to make yourself feel good. I don't know. I'm just trying to like compare the two, but I really don't think that the two actually have like any comparisons, because they, like I said, bash one another and have different views and ideas of morality and how we go about our morals and moral actions.